One more gong, sir. One more gong. Jio Financial Services, ladies and gentlemen, live on the BSE.
That's right, Jio Financial Services is now live. The stock Jio Financial Services is now live on the BSE. From KV Kamath to the rest of the management, all of them sounding the gong to sound essentially the arrival of Jio Financial Services stock in the markets. Price discovery, bear in mind, has arrived at 261 odd rupees per stock. It's just the initial price discovery. It's going to trade in the trade for trade segment, a limited trade segment for the next 10 days. Where it to control volatility, the price of the stock will not be allowed to go too much up or too much down. That's what the trade for trade segment essentially means. So when a new stock lists, to avoid any kind of volatility impacting the price of the stock, the first 10 days you have a trade for trade segment, where the stock price doesn't move much. But what will happen from the 1st of September onwards is what is very interesting, isn't it, Kartik? But Kartik, as we speak, let's also bring in our guest this morning who's joined us, Mr. Gaurang Shah of Geojit Financial Services. Gaurang, a very good morning. A good morning at the BSE as well. Not every day that you see a stock being carved out of Reliance listing with such fanfare.
Thank you, Krishnakumar, and morning to all of you all. So, I guess it has been a long-awaited, listing. Of course, the session of price discovery of 261 remains to be seen what the commentary from the management is in terms of where they want to take the business with the kind of corpus that they have. It would be interesting to possibly hear into the management commentary with respect to business and which are the areas that they are going to focus. But yes, it's one of the listing that was anticipated and waited for quite some time.
Good morning, Gaurang. I think very interesting story here coming from Jio Financial Services. The price discovery coming at 261.85 when the market had estimated the price discovery to rest in the range of about 170 to 190. So obviously the stock there outperforming the discovery, outperforming market expectations, and the grey market trends are suggesting that perhaps the listing, when it does happen eventually, could happen at 310 and upwards. What are your views on the stock?
Well, so, before the price discovery session and before this particular listing, when the entire verticals were under one balance sheet, we were positive. We are in fact still positive on Reliance Industries per se. Our sense is that a lot will depend upon what are the areas of business focus and what are the products that they are going to come out with, what kind of earnings they are possibly projecting. Let us not forget that this particular sector, that is NBFC, is overcrowded, but with the kind of financial strength that they come into this particular business of Jio Financial Services, and of course the likes of BlackRock coming through, we could expect a little bit of fireworks, and competition is definitely it's on its peak. But our sense is that they will definitely find a place over here. So a little early to possibly give you any kind of price targets on Jio Financial Services. I guess we should possibly just wait out and see how the valuation is done in this particular sector. And not to forget, I think since the business was under Reliance Industries at some point of time, we remain optimistic about this business as well.
But as of now, so many questions hanging over Jio Financial Services, especially their joint venture, their international joint venture
with BlackRock.
When are these products going to hit the markets? How will it go? Because we've seen these things not do very well, these international collaborations, especially in financial services. Be it insurance or any kind of financial service. We've seen what happened in Future Generali. So many other examples we can give. What are your hopes and thoughts on this entire BlackRock coming into this picture, and that how do you see that impacting the fortunes of Jio Financial Services?
So I guess there would have been a lot of introspection that would have been done. And not to forget, these are two big names we are talking about, Reliance, that is Jio Financial Services, as well as BlackRock. So there would have been an in-depth understanding between both the parties in terms of what they want to bring in, what they want to offer to the customers. And my sense is that with the kind of reach and database of the parent company, I don't think it's going to be very difficult for Jio Financial Services to penetrate not only into the metros, tier one, tier two cities, but also into tier three, tier four, and more so into semi-urban and rural India, because that's where I think there's going to be a huge focus in terms of small ticket lending. And the small ticket lending, the good part about that is that the repayment run rate is almost about 90% plus in when it comes to repayment of principal and interest. So it would be interesting to see. Yes, in the past there have been certain failures, but with these two big names,
Yep.
I don't think we should have that kind of
The hopes
uncertainty.
are high, Gaurang. The hopes are high. The reason why I'm even asking this question is because the stock is already listed. But we have little to no idea about what exactly Jio Financial Services does or what does it sell.
That's what I think everybody is waiting to find out, and hence what Gaurang was mentioning about the management commentary. I think that is important because last week, Krishna, you and I were talking to Mohit Gang, and he had said that it could take up to 2 years for the license for an AMC to really come Reliance's way.
Which basically means a Jio BlackRock mutual fund to hit the markets will take 2 years.
It could take up to 2 years, right? So that, of course, then makes you believe that is it going to be into institutional lending? Is it going to be an institutional finance, a typical definition of NBFC versus an AMC? And already, Gaurang, it's with the price discovery at 261, the market cap of JioFin, which is its symbol incidentally on the stock markets, JioFin, is the second most valued NBFC in India.
Whoa.
Just inches behind Bajaj Finance. So, we know disruption is the DNA of anything that comes out of Reliance. But on even ahead of your listing, you're the second most valuable, NBFC.
And we don't know what is
we don't even know what the business model is. So what does this tell us about not just about
Gaurang,
Reliance,
demystify us.
but about investors? I mean, anything coming from the Reliance table gets lapped up, and how?
Well, I think the charisma of the pedigree and the name does not die. And, after a long time, we are seeing this kind of interest in an NBFC, which comes from a very, credible pedigree or name. And I'm optimistic about the sector. I'm optimistic about the reach that they would have in terms of touch points. But the only problem, like I mentioned in my opening comments, need to hear from the management as to which areas they are going to focus on. Starting an AMC again, AMC is also an overcrowded place. So you need to, and I am quite sure that the authorities and the regulators would take their time to give any kind of green signal to a new big entity coming in, because they don't want to disappointment the investor fraternity. So I'm quite sure that it will happen over a period of time. But purely, I mean, if anything number that is maybe close to about 280 or 300 once the trade starts happening, then I think one needs to be a little bit, don't jump the gun. That's what I would say. Wait for the management in terms of where and what business and what are the products that they're going to reach out for.
So strangely, Krishna, on the day of listing, when markets opened, Reliance was actually trading in the red. It was down about 0.3% or so. Let's pull up the stocks in action.
I want to ask Gaurang this. How do you view this impact? We've been wondering how this will impact the Reliance
will
stock
it impact
per se.
the parent company at all and the stock of the parent company? And a negative impact on the day of listing. Is there another news trigger that we are missing, Gaurang? Or
it unlocks value. It unlocks value for Jio Financial Services, sure. But is it taking away value from the Reliance stock, the main Reliance stock?
No, I don't think so, because the entire process of getting this business out of the balance sheet of Reliance Industries and listing it as a separate entity was done and dusted the way the price discovery special session was conducted. And I think whatever impact that it had to have is already there in the price. I don't think there is going to be any deep downside move on Reliance Industries sub 2500, that is 2500, unless and until you have some unpleasant event on the domestic or a global front. But having said that, it only goes to shows the kind of faith investors have in the credibility of any entity that comes out from the Reliance brand name.
Right, so we will have to, this is very early days, don't jump the gun is the word that already Gaurang has told us. We won't jump the gun, Gaurang, so we've taken in all the commentary from analysts like you for now. We'll have to wait for the management commentary on Jio Financial Services as we go forward.